Okay, everybody. This is FlickALove2000, and this is part 5, which is the final part of the fan-made Hey Arnold DVD releases by Columbia TriStar with Movie&GameLover98. I have just sent him this. I just sent him the link to the stream a few seconds ago, and yeah. We only have 4 more Hey Arnold DVDs to talk about for this part, and then it concludes it. But we're not going to end the stream right after the Hey Arnold releases are exactly done. No, we are still going to keep talking about other things after that. And, yeah. So, so we are actually going to talk right after we talk about those last 4 releases, so be on the lookout for that. But don't worry, there are only 4, so it won't take that long, so. But we are not ending the stream after we talk about those last 4 releases, because we're going to be talking about some more things as well in addition. I suppose. And look who's here.
Yep, it's me, FlickLove2000.
Yep. So now we're going into our last 4 Hey Arnold DVD releases. So there are only 2 more from 2005, and then we have 2 from 2006.
Yep, then we're finally going to be done. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I should have told you we should have ended off yesterday's part because I forgot the fireworks were igniting yesterday. Well,
It's
anyways,
okay.
yeah.
It's okay.
Well, at least we got through the last one, like yet last night, correct?
At least
What was the,
we got through the Best of Phoebe, which was the last DVD we went over before we ended part 4.
which was released with the release date being called at
June 14th of 2005. Yeah.
right, and it includes 2 bonus Dragon Tales episodes, which they were,
All That Glitters and Dragonberry Drought.
even though it repeats a season 2 episode. But yeah, let's get to the next release that's also from 2005.
Yeah, and it's called The Best of Rhonda, released on August 2nd of 2005.
Basically, I think a month, well, actually just a few days after the Thomas and Friends home media release, Percy Saves the Day came out on both VHS and DVD at the same time, and a month before Thomas Calling All Engines came out on both VHS and DVD at the same time.
And the exact same day the exact same day Dragon Tales Sing and Dance in Dragonland was released on DVD and the same day Dragon Tales was released on VHS for the last time before they completely switch over to DVD.
Yeah, Sing and Dance in Dragonland was released on VHS and DVD at the same time, but it was the last release to be put on both VHS and DVD at the same time. So yeah, we're going to get into another best of one.
Yeah. So, the Best of Rhonda, which would also include a bonus episode of Dragon Tales from Sesame Workshop.
Yep.
This is the second to last Hey Arnold DVD to contain a bonus Dragon Tales episode on there.
Yeah, because I think when we get to the 2006 releases, they'll be doing no more Dragon Tales bonus episodes after that when we get to the 2006 ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, these last 2, unfortunately, this will be the last ones we'll do Dragon Tales bonus episodes, but other than that, no more. So yeah, let's just get to the...
Don't worry, but there's a bonus episode of another show. It's just not Dragon Tales this time.
Yeah, it could be something different. I don't mind, because I like other shows besides Thomas and Dragon Tales. Well, yeah, let's get to the episodes on this best of compilation fan-made release.
And it's, alright, so the episodes for the Best of Rhonda are Rhonda's Glasses, Hey Harold, and Polishing Rhonda.
Polishing Rhonda.
And it would include the 2 new Dragon Tales episodes, which are Itching for a Cure and The Big Race.
Oh, yes. I remember both of them on PBS Kids when I was really little. I remember watching both of them, Itching for a Cure and the Big Race. Yeah, I think this is the first instance in a Season 3 episode. Yeah, my thoughts on Itching for a Cure and the Big Race. And, like how Mungus the Giant has a big itch, and they have to find ways to make more Itch Be Gone cream, a big batch of Itch Be Gone cream, because he has rashes all over him because he's been itching all over. And basically they visit Chili for a little bit, Max and Orb, but then they realize they have to help Mungus right now because they realize...
Before you continue, I have a question to answer real quick.
Yeah?
So, about what you said, MRKP 2003, yes, Movie&GameLover98 was born in 1998.
Yes, that's why I'm called Movie&GameLover98.
Anyway, you can continue.
Okay.
Just like how I'm called Flick Lover 2000 since I was born in 2000.
Yeah. So yes, back to Itching for a Cure and the Big Race, which Itching for a Cure would get repurposed again, but just repurposed with a repeated season 2 episode because they didn't think of other better ideas. So yeah, like I said, yes, they have to find a way to get Mungus the Giant to stop itching. But I think this is the first time an instance where Mungus does interact with Enrique. But to Fly with a New Friend part 1 and 2, or basically one of the parts to Fly with a New Friend, he made a cameo without... Well, actually, he did interact, but didn't say any dialogue, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And of course...
I think this is Dr. Boo Boo Gon's only appearance in Season 3.
Unless you count the reuse Itching for a Cure again, but that doesn't really count. But anyways, yeah. They have to get the itching off of Mungus, and they literally succeed. And it's also funny, like, how Emmy and Cassie have to go through slime to climb up the tree to get limes to basically make the itch be gone cream, because they need limes, honey, and chili peppers. Like, like the chili peppers that they say they're really spicy. And they succeed in getting the
I think
itch
this
off.
is the second appearance. We only have 3 more DVDs after this one, but
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, let me get to the other episode.
This is the second appearance of the Dragon Peppers. The first time was in the season 1 episode, Follow the Dogs, I believe.
Oh, it is? Like, how I might just say this really quick, because how Emmy counted the chili peppers in Spanish in Follow the Dots. She counted the 6 chili peppers in Spanish. But yeah, back to Itching for a Cure. They succeeded to get Mungus's itching off. And yeah, the ending bit was kind of funny too. Like, when Enrique's pretended to scratch his body, and then yeah, now onto the big race, where I do admire it very much, because every time I see Emmy and Cassie singing that rhyming pedaling song, every time it gets to me, I get intrigued by it. It literally goes uno dos tres ya a la vez, uno dos tres a la vez. It's basically one.
This is one of the only times where Enrique loses his temper.
Well, yeah, because he gets really upset at Lorca. Well, at least he didn't do something very severely, like hit Lorca, or he just gets really annoyed at Lorca. Yeah.
But it is much better than no hitter, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, they're just in the race, but then they just get left out at the race, and then they realize they can still help each other out no matter what. And yes, when Emmy and Cassie are about to crash into Zach and Wheezy, well, Zach and Wheezy and Lorca and Enrique, they still sing uno, dos, tres, a la vez. Ah! And then they crash. And Or tries to push them to get them unstuck. Or not. We're all stuck together. And I also like Polly Nimbus and the other racer singing in their sentences individually. We work together in all kinds of weather. And they make a cool train whistle from their vehicle. Because if you hear that whistle from their vehicle, it's like a train whistle. Kind of like I said, yes, the Fury's out in this one. When he blows off steam, it's like a sound of a train whistle. And then all of them sing the pedaling rhyme in Spanish, where they get to the finish line. But yes, they don't win the trophy, but they had a great time anyway. But yes, that's like how Lightning McQueen knows. He didn't care if he won the race or not, because he just had a fun time anyway racing, instead of just trying to win the race. Because helping someone was better than just trying to win anything any day.
Do you know what PBS Kids ident you saw in those episodes when you saw those episodes on PBS?
I think it was the one with Dash thinking about something.
Well, you're in luck, because that is the very last Dragon Tales DVD to use it in the Dragon Tales portion, but we will get over that.
Yeah, so yes, both of them, Itching for a Cure and The Big Race, both great episodes of Season 3. I said they're probably another one of my favorite Season 3 episodes.
I do know that the episode Sky Soccer and Making It Fun did end with the ident with Dot running up to the screen.
Yeah, because there was a 2006 program break, I remember, on YouTube.
No, it was a 2005 program break.
Oh, I thought it was 2006, but I was wrong. Well, anyway, whichever year it was. But yeah. And of course, yes, I remember both of them. But hopefully we don't get to the bad Season 3 episode I dislike in Season 3, despite it does end off really good in the end. But the middle part...
Don't get into... Don't worry. Those Hey Arnold DVDs do not have that episode.
I'm talking about Finn's Blanky and repeated Let's Dance from Season 2. But yeah, let's get to the portion of this DVD opening and closing, since I already talked about my thoughts of the 2 episodes I like from Season 3 the best.
Yeah. So at the beginning of this DVD of the best of Rhonda, it would have the 2005 Sony Pictures Home Entertainment logo. It still has the regular colors, but it is out of sync at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it has the... a preview for Stuart Little 3, and then the FBI anti-piracy warning and the red warning and attention screens, the season 5 funding for Hey Arnold, and then the Frosted Flakes speech ad, the season 5 funding continued, the title sequence, and the start of the episode. Rhonda's glasses, and the closing to the Hey Arnold portion would have the last few seconds of the episodes, which would be polishing Rhonda, of course, and then the online bumper from 2000 to 2004, the end credits, and then the season 5 funding, the Fruit Loops jungle ad, the season 5 funding continued, the Sony Pictures television logo with the music at a lower pitch, and then the PBS Kids Dot transformation ident, where Dot, the girl, transforms into a tiger, octopus, and astronaut. And then we go into the Dragon Tales portion, which has the Kellogg Company ad, and then the Frosted Flakes Community Center ad, then the season 3 funding, title sequence, and the start of the episode Itching for Cure. And the closing to the Dragon Tales portion would have the last few seconds of the big race, the online bumper for Dragon Tales from season 3, the end credit.
Yeah.
And then the Sesame Workshop green roof, the green house and purple roof logo, and then the 2002 Sony Pictures television logo. This time it's in its regular pitch, unlike the Hey Arnold portion, which had it in a lower pitch.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Kellogg Company ad, and then the Fruit Loops jungle ad, then the season 3 funding, and then the PBS Kids ident with Dash the Boy Thinking. And this would be the last DVD to use the Dash variant of the PBS Kids logo after Dragon Tales ends, and the DVD menu.
Well, yeah, despite, yes, Dragon Tales did rerun on PBS Kids, like, sometime in late 2005, like, even, like, running up until it stopped airing in 2010, basically. Yeah.
Now, we go into the very last DVD release of Hey Arnold with a Dragon Tales episode on there.
Yep. Sometime
in is called
2005, sorry.
The Best of Oscar, with the release date being November 15th, 2005.
Oh, wow. This was after Thomas Calling Legends on VHS and DVD came out, but there was no other Thomas Home Media releases in late 2005 after that until
November 15th, 2005 was also the same day of? It was the same day that this was released on DVD.
Oh. One of the series of the Flintstones. One of the seasons.
Season of the Flintstones was released on DVD that same day by Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I also liked how it released this Fanmade one released days after one of my favorite Mario Party games came out. Well, I don't think if you want to talk about video games, that's okay, because I like to play video games too. Well, anyways, if you don't like to play video games, that's fine.
All right. The Best of Oscar, released November 15th, 2005. It also includes a bonus episode of Dragon Tales from Sesame Workshop.
Uh-huh.
Now, this would have the episodes Oscar Can't Read, Baby Oscar, and The Racing Mule.
Racing Mule. Something.
And then they would have the 2 new Dragon Tales episodes, which are Finders Keepers and a storybook ending.
Oh, yes. The finale to Dragon Tales. Because I guess they could not come up with a good episode to pair up with that finale episode. That, for some reason, was placed in the wrong order. Well, I gotta tell you my thoughts on the Finders Keepers. Despite it we're not doing episodes in chronological order, I'll just say Finders Keepers. I was telling you that's the episode I told you that's how Wheezy and Zach realized their tickets for the fair aquarium were back at their cave all along when they tried to retrace Wheezy's steps.
Just like there's also one scene where Ord gets very scared and he's like, "What if Wheezy never finds them?
And we'll never get to go to the aquarium and go on rides?"
For a second, I thought for a second when I watched that episode, I thought Ord was gonna cry, but
no. But the episode after that, yes, he makes a big cry. Yes, but we're not talking about that episode. So yeah, that when they keep retracing Wheezy's steps to find the tickets for the aquarium, but they realize they were back in their cave all along. That's kind of similar to how Max realized his dinosaur socks were on him all along when they got home from Dragonland. But this is a different portion of that episode. And of course, yes, I like the ending portion where they get squirted by a squirtfish, and Emmy says, "Bye, squirtfish." And Max asks, "Why do they call it a squirtfish?" And also when they do the rhyme to I wish to use this rhyme to go back home until next time. You can still hear them finishing their speech right as they're approaching home when they say the rhyme to go back home. That's the rare season 2 episodes that they actually do that. But in the rest, they appear as soon as the rhyme ends.
Oh, well, aren't there some season 1 episodes that have that error with their voices heard even after they're already at home?
I'll have to go through all the episodes again without playing the audio because, I'm not doing recording. I can just look through the episodes without playing audio, and I'll see which ones do that. But yes, these 3 in season 1, they don't use the rhyme to go back home. But anyways, yeah, I'll have to look through most of them again. So yeah, and my thoughts on the finale, a storybook ending. And I know some finale episodes to other kid shows. Well, we'll talk about my thoughts of a storybook ending first, where they basically go through into Quetzal's Magic Pop Book, and they go on a finale adventure going to where they find Quetzal's Magic Pop-Up Book. And for some reason, this is the instance where Quetzal does go with them into the pop-up book, but then they realize they find it at the finale. And of course, yeah, this is where they all group up when they find the wizard who has Quetzal's Magic Pop-Up Book, and of course, and
this is the only time Enrique goes into the pop-up book as well.
Yeah, despite this is the very last episode of Dragon Tales, and yes, like when they finally get back home, Max, Emmy, and Enrique, they realize what should they write about all their adventures today, and Max comes up with a cool sentence to think of lots of things to talk about. He says, "How about a bunch of cool stuff that happened in the lands of dragons and gnomes and fairies and unicorns and more?"
And then Emmy was like, "That'll be too long for the title. How about Dragon Tales? She breaks the fourth wall saying the name of the show."
Oh my god, yes! That's the first instance. That was rare for that to happen. Well, even though, yes, in Bob the Builder, they still call the character Bob by short, but the show is called Bob the Builder. And yes, just like Thomas and Friends, yes, they still just call him Thomas or Thomas the Tank Engine, or just whatever.
In Clifford the Big Red Dog's case, they just call it Clifford for short.
Yes, yeah. And even though the Wiggles is about 4 Wiggles characters, it's just called the Wiggles. And and whenever they introduce themselves, they say, "Hi everybody, we're the Wiggles." But yeah, yes. And of course, yes, the finale ends after Emily breaks the fourth wall after saying the show's name after the finale, first last few seconds of the finale episode, and that's the end of Dragon Tales. But of course, they just repeat the show on PBS Kids until 2010. Sometime in August 2010, they would remove it.
The very last episode of Clifford the Big Red Dog was Little Big Pup and Getting to Know You.
And the finale of the original Thomas, which I think is good, seasons 1 through 21 of Thomas, the last episode of season 21 is Confused Coaches.
And
and the last one with Blue's Clues is with Steve is Steve Goes to College. I don't know the ones for Bob the Builder or other shows. Well,
there's one of a few season 4 episodes where Steve and Joe are there, but mostly it's just Steve in season 4.
Well, at the last few episodes, it's Steve off the scene, and then Joe takes place at the rest of the season, and then starting at season 5, it's primarily Joe. And of course, I can't remember the finale to what was it? The original Bob the Builder or something?
I know that the finale to the Arthur series was just recently. It was the Arthur episodes Blabbermouth and All Grown Up, which this would, in the last episode during the last few minutes, we see the Arthur characters as full-grown adults.
Oh, and basically Arthur's baby sister is his youngest baby sister is finally grown into I think she grew up.
Arthur's baby sister, baby Kate, does not appear in that scene, though.
Yeah, I guess that's why. But I haven't seen that finale episode of Arthur. I'll have to give that a try, but I'm probably not so sure. But of course, yeah, I'm trying to remember the finale to what other shows? I'm trying to remember the finale to the original Sesame Street before they went into the series with Abby Cadabby being added. Basically,
it was The Adventures of Little Big Bird Part 2 from season 36 of Sesame Street back in 2005.
Was it early or late 2005?
December 30th, 2005, just a couple of days before the new year, 2006.
And 5 days after Christmas that year. Yeah, and also, I'm trying to remember of other kids shows, like, what are the kids shows am I trying to think of? I can't remember the ones from Barney and Friends, but if you're not a big fan of Barney and Friends, that's okay.
I tend to like Sesame Street better than Barney and Friends.
Yeah, like you told me the Sesame Street finale with the original ones before they started season
37 back in August 2006.
Yes,
with episode 4109 being Abby Cadavia's debut episode.
Yeah. So yes, like I said, Thomas, the last episode of the good Thomas, because I don't care for Blubba era seasons 22 through 24. And no, I'm not doing All Engines Go at all.
And if you're counting about the last episode of the classic series of Thomas and Friends that does not include the engine roll call, it's free cheers for Thomas or hooray for Thomas.
It's hooray for Thomas in the U.S., 3 cheers for Thomas in the U.K. Basically, even though yes, those eras after the classic series have flaws, I still like them despite seasons 8 through 11 still use model animation. But yes, of course, I'll just say this, seasons 1 through 21, the finale of season 21 confused coaches, because the movie that made Thomas worst after that was the Blubba movie itself. That's when I stopped watching Thomas after that. Funny, I ended off with a Thomas movie, Big World, Big Adventures, because it's the very last Thomas feature-length movie, or just special in general.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the opening and closing to the last DVD of Hey Arnold with a Dragon Tales episode on there. It basically have the 2005 Sony Pictures Home Entertainment logo. It's also out of sync at the beginning.
Yeah, odd if you ask me.
And then it has the exact same trailer for Stuart Little 3. And then it would have the FBI anti-piracy warning, red warning, intention screens, the season 5 funding, the Frosted Flakes speech ad, the season 5 funding continued, the title sequence, and the start of the episode Oscar Can't Read. And the closing to the Hey Arnold portion would add the last few seconds of the racing mule, then the online bumper and local library bumper from 2000 to 2004, the end credits, and then of course the season 5 funding, the Fruit Loops Jungle ad, the season 5 funding continued. The Columbia TriStar television logo, which makes its last appearance in the Hey Arnold portion. And then, of course, the PBS Kids ident with Dot the Girl running up to the screen from 1999. This would be the first release since the 2001 DVD release of Fun and Games to use the Dot ident from 1999 after Hey Arnold ends. And then the Dragon Tales portion would open with the Kellogg Company ad, the Frosted Flakes Community Center ad from 2003, and then the season 3 funding, and then the title sequence and start of the episode Finders Keepers. And not to be confused with an Arthur episode of the same name from season 2 called Finders Keepers, with key being the pun, because they are arguing about a key.
Yeah. It's different, but it's still the same title, but it's just different plots. But yeah, back to the thing you were saying about the portion. Anyway,
now at the end of the Dragon Tales portion, it would have the last few seconds of the storybook ending, and then the end credits from season 3, and then the website bumper from season 3 comes before the end credits, and then of course the Sesame Workshop Purple Roof Greenhouse logo, the 2002 Sony Pictures television logo, and then the Kellogg Company ad, and then the Frosted Flakes, and then the Fruit Loops Jungle ad, and then the season 3 funding, and then of course the PBS Kids ident with Dot the Girl running up to the screen again, and then the DVD menu. So that was the last 2005 release. Now we have 2 more left to show you, and they are from 2006.
Yeah, hopefully, despite there's going to be no more Dragon Tales episodes on these 2 releases, I think that we could still mention the DVD releases of Dragon Tales still, if that's okay.
Sure.
Well, despite there's only 3 of them in these months of 2006, but there's only going to be 2 of them. Well, we'll see which ones we get to.
So
When we
the first of the 2006 releases are the Best of Grandpa.
Best of Grandpa. Yippee.
And the release date would be January 31st of 2006, which is also the exact same day Sony Wonder released Elmo's World Reach for the Sky on VHS and DVD.
Oh, and isn't that about a week after the Dragon Tales release, Say Hola to Enrique, which is the first DVD only release?
You are correct.
Yes, I got it right. So basically the last day, 2006, but just about a week after Say Hola to Enrique, the first Dragon Tales release to be DVD only came out basically. And yes, and I think before Thomas Track Stars and Thomas and the Really Brave Vengeance came out on both VHS and DVD, despite the DVDs easier to find than the VHS.
Alright, so the Best of Grandpa would include a bonus episode of the Berenstain Bears this time.
Which one?
And not the 2002 series, but the classic series from 1985.
Well, I like both eras of Berenstain Bears. Well, yeah, we have to figure out the episodes, yeah. Well, despite like both eras, I like the 2002 style one a little bit better, but that doesn't hurt the ones because it's for both old and new fans out there, the 1980s.
Even though you may like the 2002 version better, I have to like the 1985 classic version better.
I guess the only portion of the 1980s version of the Berenstain Bears, I guess the only character that does man up very one of them that their voice is so superb is Papa Bear.
Like he's like, Mr. Bear, I'm really glad you asked these questions.
There's actually one.
It sounds like in the 1985 version.
But yeah, of course,
believe it or not, Ruth Buzzy does the voice of Mama Bear in the 1985 series, and she would later guest star in Sesame Street as Ruthie, the owner of Finders Keepers, up in the Around the Corner set of Sesame Street.
Well, yeah, you're talking about the actress herself who voiced Mama Bear in the 80s version of Berenstain Bears?
Yeah.
Oh, because like she played one of the people in the Sesame Street version of Finders Keepers. Yeah.
Well, it's a location in the Around the Corner set of Sesame Street. It's called Finders Keepers.
But yeah, let's get to the bonus Berenstain Bears episode. So I do like Berenstain Bears.
So, this one would have 3 Hey Arnold episodes, which are Haunted Train, Eating Contest, and Grandpa's Birthday. Plus a bonus episode of Berenstain Bears, which is Too Much Birthday.
Oh my god, Too Much Birthday? I don't like that episode. Can I tell you my thoughts on it? Terrible. What do you say would be bad if a Berenstain Bears episode is bad? Like you said,
for Dragon Tales, I'd call it a Dragon Trash episode, and I know Pie Guy Rules calls it bad SpongeBob episode, a ScumBob episode.
But and, what would we say for Berenstain Bears?
I would say a very bad episode.
Very bad? Like kind of like saying, yeah, very bad episode. You want to know why?
Sister Bear. Is it because of Sister Bear crying at the end of the episode?
God, yes. And then she acts like a stupid crybaby, even though she's 6 years old. No 6-year-old is supposed to cry on her birthday.
Not to mention, I can imagine what it would be like if Dragon Tales aired in the 1980s. She'd probably be voiced by the same actress who does Sister Bear, and yes, she would cry just like that if it aired in the 80s.
Well, are you talking about the actress who voiced one of the characters in Dragon Tales? They do the same thing?
No, I'm talking about the actor who would voice Sister Bear, who would voice Cassie in Dragon Tales if it aired in the 1980s instead of Chantal Strand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I still think Too Much Birthday, so bad. Very bad, if you ask me. Yeah. Because, like, even this one YouTuber, he put up he forgot to put in the description to mention me saying the part I dislike. Yes, because I never did that on my 6th birthday as a kid. Cry like a brat. Oh my god. God, it's like... God, I'd say it's worse than Ord's Unhappy Birthday or Joe's Surprise Party from Blue's Clues. Because at least those characters, they don't cry, but Sister Bear, she does, even though she's 6 years old. I never acted like a brat on my 6th birthday as a kid in 2004. I know you probably didn't do it in 2006 either.
No. But I actually did cry on my 1st birthday, because what
happened?
I probably didn't like the water getting into my eyes during the shower and stuff.
God, I can't remember what happened on my 1st birthday, honestly, in 1999 as a baby. God, I can't even remember. Because a lot of people don't remember stuff when they're a baby. They don't know stuff at all.
So anyway.
But it was, Well, what would the other episodes be if Berenstain Bears, is it just one bonus episode?
It's just one bonus episode in these 2006 releases.
Okay, so yeah, we're already starting off with a bad episode already of Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, and anyway, at the beginning, it had the 2005 Sony Pictures Home Entertainment logo. This time it goes back to being in sync like it should be.
Yeah, well, at least they fixed it.
And then it has the Sony Pictures Family Fun trailer with Dragon Tales, the Berenstain Bears, the Wubulous World of Dr. Seuss, Harold and the Purple Crayon, the All Dogs Go to Heaven series and stuff.
Yep.
And then the FBI anti-piracy warning.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Red Morning and Attention screens. And then, of course, the Hey Arnold Season 5 funding, the Frosted Flakes beach ad, the Season 5 funding continued, the title sequence and the start of the episode, Haunted Train. And the closing to the Hey Arnold portion, we had the last few seconds of the episode.
Yeah.
So it's online local library for Hey Arnold from 2000 to 2004, and then the end credits, and then the Season 5 funding, the Fruit Loops Jungle ad, the Season 5 funding continued, the 2002 Sony Pictures television logo with the music in a lower pitch, and then the PBS Kids ident with Dash the Boy thinking about something.
Yep.
And then the Berenstain Bears portion would just have the Berenstain Bears intro and the title card for Too Much Birthday, and then we go right to the episode. And the closing to the Berenstain Bears portion would have the last few seconds of that episode, Too Much Birthday, and then, of course, the end credits with the Southern Star Productions logo with the loud thunderclap, and then we go back to the DVD menu.
Yeah. And also, I forgot to tell you this. Which one of these do you think is worse? Like, when Enrique didn't make a big cry in Feliz Cumpleaños Enrique, but in Too Much Birthday, Sister Bear did cry really hard, hard.
I'd say Too Much Birthday I'd say Feliz Cumpleaños Enrique did a much better job at it.
Yeah, because, at least I know the good thing is that Mama Bear hugged Sister Bear, but Quetzal did the same thing with Enrique, but Enrique only did this when tears were coming out of his eyes, but that wasn't a big cry. He just shreds tears.
I'd say Feliz Cumpleaños Enrique did a much better job at handling that than in Too Much Birthday.
Yeah, but anyways, let's get to the next fan-made Hey Arnold release of 2006.
And the last Hey Arnold DVD released by Sony Pictures in general.
Yep, the final one. Then we can do other things for a while, because, like I said, I want to stop around 10 o'clock today.
Anyway.
Yep.
Now we go into the Best of Big Bob, which is the final Hey Arnold DVD released by Sony Pictures. And the release date would be March 28th of 2006, which is also the same day that Paramount released the Teletubbies VHS release Blue Sky and the Boo-Bah VHS release Building Blocks.
Huh, interesting. And also that was also a little bit after Thomas and Friends Sing Along and Stories, and Thomas Gets Bumped finally got released onto DVD. Because I guess Hit Entertainment forgot to do DVDs for them in 2002 or something, or maybe 3 or 4. I don't know, because I guess it was just
they didn't release Percy's Ghostly Trick on VHS at all with the new packaging at all. They kept the old packaging though.
Yeah, well, just basically they changed the style of the tape. Even up until 2003, they took it off the store shelves. Even though Thomas Gets Tricked and James Goes Buzz, they have the 2004 ink label, but they still have the 1995 or 6 box. But they kept it around in stores until maybe 2004, which was interesting. Which I found kind of interesting, if you ask me. But yeah, like I said, Thomas Gets Bumped and Sing Along and Stories were released in DVD in 2006. You said something about Percy Ghostly Trick. It wouldn't get DVD until 2007. Well, there was a 2000.
10 Years of Thomas didn't get a DVD release until 2005.
Or they could have just released it in 2009 to promote Thomas's 20th anniversary in North America, but I guess they did it in 2005 to celebrate 60 years of the franchise.
A DVD called 20 Years of Thomas, which included episodes with with not only George Carlin's narration, but a few episodes with Alec Baldwin and Michael Brandon narrating in return.
Well, if they do that, they could do more season 4 episodes with the older George Carlin, but do some season 5, 6, and 7, and basically 7 through 11 episodes with Michael Brandon, basically.
And I think the most episodes in the Michael Brandon era in 20 Years of Thomas would be that of season 8.
So basically, just most of the Michael Brandon ones are season 8, but of course they have to put the episodes in random order like they did on 10 Years of Thomas.
One Michael Angelis narration in one of them from the New Friends for Thomas DVD, and they put that back for the season 7 episode Gordon and Spencer.
Yeah, so basically we had 4 narrators on the 20 Years of Thomas.
Narrators would be on there.
Basically, George Carlin, Alec Baldwin, Michael Angelis, Michael Brandon. The reason why is because Best of Gordon.
And what about Ringo Starr doing one narration in that episode too, which is the very first episode, Thomas Gets Tricked?
Yeah, basically, I don't think the episodes can go in chronological order. Basically, like they start with Thomas Gets Tricked and they go in random order after that. Yeah. And yes, I know Percy's Ghostly Trick on DVD did get a 2008 glow-in-the-dark slipcover, but it's just still the 2007 original DVD packaging. But it was also released in a double feature with Halloween Adventures.
I can imagine what it would be like if they made Tenders and Turntables, Thomas Breaks the Rules, Better Late Than Never, and Thomas Meets the Queen on DVD. You know what I think would be different for the DVD release? What if the DVD release of Thomas Meets the Queen had Michael Brandon's announcement saying Thomas and Friends making tracks to great destinations before the Brit All Crap intro and the Thomas intro from season 4, even though the VHS did not have that announcement?
Well, what if they just alternate between doing different ones of the narrators, like basically the last Tenders and Turntables, Breaks the Rules, and Better Late Than Never with Ringo Starr's narration, and basically
could have a couple episodes with Alec Baldwin's narration added on there as well.
Well, yeah, that's true, but you know how the Michael Brandon announcement could basically go for the Ringo Starr ones in Thomas's Christmas Party? He could have said, Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations. The season 8 version.
There was a DVD version of Thomas's Christmas Party, which had narrations by George Carlin and Ringo Starr instead of, well, with George Carlin just doing the season 3 episodes and Ringo Starr doing season 1 and season 2.
We could actually actually had a New Friend for Thomas narrated by Ringo Starr before Engine Friends came out on DVD in 2012.
And that would be a 2009 DVD release of Thomas's Christmas Party, which this would be the first DVD release of it.
Yeah, and
this would be. And how would you like Thomas Breaks the Rules to be one of the rare DVDs to have a fully animated Hit Entertainment logo from 2007 before the Britt Allcroft logo instead of the still one?
Well, are you talking about like the still? Well, you're saying like the still logo that basically it's a still picture of the Hit logo, but it still does it for the old style version.
What if Thomas Breaks the Rules used the fully animated Hit Entertainment Blocks logo from 2008, from 2007 before the Britt Allcroft logo, instead of just the still Hit Entertainment logo from 2007, which just has a still picture of the block?
Well, I know you're telling me which
released in November or December 2008 or something. That could make sense as to why the fully animated logo would come before the Britt Allcroft logo.
Yeah, well, I basically know the Hit Entertainment logos of Thomas off the top of my head. The ones that went from like 19 something or something, basically 1998 something to 2006 for Thomas DVDs. I like how it's spelled out. They put the word entertainment on the side of Hit. I like that style of Hit Entertainment logo better because it's basically how you can tell. I like how it's spelled out, Hit Entertainment, but
the block and stuff is just bland. It just has H, I, and T across from each other, and the word Hit Entertainment at the bottom.
Yeah, I
And
found that logo.
and you know what was weird? Some of those releases of Hit Entertainment had the music and the Hit Entertainment logo in a bit lower pitch.
Yeah, actually, I think on when Universal bought the rights to the Thomas DVDs, they made the Hit Entertainment, the block version, lower pitched.
Yeah,
But
my DVD of James Learns a Lesson from Universal has that happen.
Well, I don't have that release because did you hear that the bonus features were completely axed from the Universal re-release of James Learns a Lesson? But for some reason, actually, the Thompson's Anthem will still play at the end of the release after Thomas and Pretty Straight Race wraps up.
Now,
yeah.
Now, the Best of Big Bob would also include a bonus episode of Berenstain Bears.
Yep.
And it would have 4 episodes on there. It would be Big Bob's Crisis, Save the Tree, Helga and the Nanny, and Quantity Time.
Quantity Time.
And then there's a bonus episode of Berenstain Bears, and it's called Learn About Strangers.
Learn About Strangers. I'll have to give that one a try, because I don't think I've ever tried that one. I don't know my thoughts on that one yet, because I haven't seen that one. The only ones I've seen...
and I can tell you. There's this one scene, it's like, Sister Bear, I'm really glad you asked these questions. They're very important questions. The reason that you should never talk to a stranger and never, ever take presents from a stranger and never, ever, ever go anywhere with a stranger is that it's dangerous.
Yeah, strangers are like people you don't really know that well. You have to really know that person. If you want to be friends with that person, you have to really know them. That's how I learned the hard way in high school. My staff said, basically, you have to keep talking to the person about themselves. That way you can really be friends with them. That's why I learned the hard way as a kid. You have to learn more about themselves. Like, before you really want to do stuff with them, you just have to learn more about themselves. Like, tell them about themselves. But yes, I'll have to give that a try, yes. Yeah.
Now, at the beginning of the DVD of The Best of Big Bob, it would have the 2005 Sony Pictures Home Entertainment logo that is out of sync, and this time it has the contrasted colors, which makes the colors a bit brighter.
Yeah.
And then it has the exact same Sony Pictures Family Fun trailer from 2006, and then the FBI anti-piracy warning, the red warning intention screens. And then the Hey Arnold Season 5 funding, the Frosted Flake speech ad, the Season 5 funding continued, the title sequence, and the start of the episode, Big Bob's Crisis. And then the closing to the Hey Arnold portion of the DVD would be the last few seconds of the episode Quantity Time, the online bumper from 2000 to 2004, end credits, Season 5 funding, the Fruit Loops Jungle ad, the Season 5 funding continued, the 2002 Sony Pictures television logo with the music in a lower pitch, and in the PBS Kids Dash transformation ident, where Dash transforms into a caveman, scuba diver, and robot. And then the Berenstain Bears portion would just have the Berenstain Bears intro from 1985 and the title card for Learn About Strangers and the start of the episode Learn About Strangers. Then the closing to the Berenstain Bears portion would have the last few seconds of that episode, and then of course the end credits, and then the Southern Star Productions logo with the loud thunder clap, and then the Sony Pictures television logo appears again with the regular pitch, just like on Dragon Tales episodes from Season 3, and then we go back to the DVD menu.
Yep. So, I think that's all the releases.
Yep, that's it.
Now,
which ones would be your favorite Hey Arnold releases that we talked about? Like, it could be from any part, either from this one or from previous parts before it.
Well, I like the ones where they put some of the Dragon Tales episodes. The ones with my favorites with Dragon Tales episodes would have to be the one with Hide and Can't Seek, The Art of Patience.
On the Best of Helga, that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to name off these releases, but I'll just tell you the releases that these episodes were from. Well, I'll just say the release with these Dragon Tales episodes, rather. And also, yeah, I'm thinking, yes, I like the one where they put the episodes Eggs Over Easy and It Happened One Nightmare, along with their sister episodes, because, like I said, yeah, we could have had the other episodes of Dragon Tales, even if they don't use the Dragonland rhyme, to go back home. And yes, I would like to say yes, those are another one of my favorites because I can see, like you said, about why they should put eggs over easy after Bully for You, but then the audience would get confused. Like then they would the kids and dragons wouldn't have met Captain Scallywag for the first time in Sky Pirates. They had to meet him in Sky Pirates. But anyways, yeah. Another one of my favorites with the season.
Bully for You and then Eggs Over Easy after that episode, and then we could have Sky Pirates and the Great White Cloud Whale be together.
Well, basically, we have to flip flop them around. Basically, so basically, what they have to do is basically put. Oh, what would they do? Basically, flip flop. Well, put the Great White Cloud Whale and next to Sky Pirates in episode 11. But then we put Eggs Over Easy and but I think Bully for You should go. Well, I don't know how they should do this because I don't know if either Eggs Over Easy or Bully for You should go first. Because then I don't know if either. Well, I think Bully for You should make sense to go first before Eggs Over Easy because then Cassie knows how to speak up and speaks.
They should have paired Eggs Over Easy with Bully for You instead of a liking to biking.
Yeah, but then also we run into another problem. We have to put Four Little Pigs.
Biking over Zach Takes a Dive could work as well.
Well, yeah. Also about Four Little Pigs. I love that episode where they do a puppet show of they say the Three Little Pigs, but then they make an adaptation called the Four Little Pigs. So that's what the episode's called. And I gotta tell you, my thoughts on Four Little Pigs, particularly like the one where Zach and Wheezy are in a sour mood when they don't, and they say that they get so jealous they have to play the music, and they say, "No music, no Zach and Wheezy. If we don't want to play with you anymore." And yeah, also the funny part when Ord steps on Emmy's toe, or on her foot rather. Once upon a time, there was, ow.
Well, at least it was funnier compared to when Max accidentally stubbed Ord's tail in Breaking Up Is Hard to Do from season 2.
No. When he stepped on his foot in Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. He didn't kick his tail in Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, unlike No Hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyways, yeah. And also,
what are some of your favorite Elmo's World episodes, especially from the episodes before Abby Cadabby came along?
Basically, the ones before she came along in August 2006. I gotta say, there are other cool ones, like the exercise one. I think there's one particular one where they talk about food and water and exercise, basically.
Yeah, it was released on May 10th, 2005.
Wow, that's even like a
food and water episodes are and the food and water episodes are from season 1, as those episodes originally aired in 1999.
Yeah, but they didn't get released onto DVD and VHS. Was it released on VHS and DVD at the same time? Food, water, and exercise. Okay. Yeah.
On May 10th, 2005. But
basically,
and then the exercise episode originally aired in 2000.
Yeah.
Second season. They completely changed the design to Elmo's World in this beginning with the second season, because in the first season it looked more bland and pale, and then in later seasons they got more saturation in it and made it more colorful.
Yeah, and like you said, yes, with those montages of this music playing, showing montages of this activity they're learning today. Eventually, it cuts straight to Elmo's pet goldfish Dorothy with the thing. And isn't Dorothy the goldfish a she? Kind of like Dorothy the dinosaur is a she in the Wiggles?
Yeah.
Okay, but basically then something appears in Dorothy's fishbowl, and it's either whatever it is. Like, in the babies one, it's just baby fish in Dorothy's fishbowl. That's something I've also admired from the babies episode of Elmo's World. Extra fish in Dorothy's fishbowl. And
also,
yep.
And what about the funny portions, when Elmo tries opening his shade and there's this crazy man named Mr. Noodle?
Yes, we talked about those. Like, those are the funniest scenes from Elmo's World. Basically, Elmo asked Mr. Noodle, "How do you do this thing?" And then basically some kids in the audience basically ask him to. Yeah, like I said, yes, the dogs one was. I think the dogs and the babies one was funny at this. Both were funny at the same time. The dogs one, yes, where he's trying to.
There was something that I actually read online during the making of the dogs episode. Michael Jeter, who played Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle, dislocated his shoulder while he was pretending to walk a toy dog.
Oh, so not like a real life dog, like an actual real life dog.
A toy dog.
Okay, so okay, and like I think like
and Michael Jeter actually dislocated his shoulder in the making of that episode.
Oh man, that was a shame for him, but that was unfortunate. But yeah, also like when they do play the Jingle Bells jingle to end the subject of the Day of Elmo's World, the ones with Mr. Noodle, I don't know what happens in the end of the dogs one. Like I think like either the toy dog runs away from him or something.
And well, I know Mr. Noodle appears in the dance song in the dancing episode.
Like towards the end of the dancing episode, or like in the dancing episode in general?
Towards the end of the dancing episode, Mr. Noodle appears during the closing song. This was one of the first episodes and the earliest episodes where Mr. Noodle appears in the closing song. But let me tell you, there were two different actors playing Mr. Noodle in some episodes. Bill Irwin was the original Mr. Noodle, and he appeared in episodes from season 1 and then less frequently in seasons 2 to 5, and then he began to be Mr. Noodle more frequently, especially after Michael Jeter, who played Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle, passed away in 2003.
Oh no, that's kind of sad. Well, anyways, yeah.
And you know what the cause of it was? It was due to an epileptic seizure that Michael Jeter had.
Oh no, yeah, that was kind of sad. But he's in a better place. May he rest in peace in a better place now.
Yeah, Michael Jeter. At least the original Mr. Noodle is still alive, though.
Yeah, that's kind of like how the engine driver segments, like the actor who played Mr. Perkins, Ben Slade, unfortunately passed away. He's been gone for 5 years now. May he rest in peace.
And it was due to cancer.
But Slade, who played Mr. Arkwright, is still alive. One of my other friends on YouTube told me that through a comment. He said Slade, who played Mr. Arkwright, is still alive.
And just like how Ringo Starr, the original Thomas narrator, is still alive, but George Carlin, who redubbed Ringo Starr's dialogue in later episodes beginning in the early 90s in Shining Time Station, has passed away.
Yeah, that would be 2008 for George Carlin. Michael Angelos was 2 years ago. But yeah, let's get to the other portions of Sesame Street. I was going to tell you, do you know after some portions of Elmo's World, they do use the portion with Oscar the Grouch reading a story to his friend the worm Slimy about
yes, that was beginning in season 35 of Sesame Street. Before season 35, there was no Trash Gordon segment.
Yeah, like basically I think from basically up to like before season 35 began. Basically they don't do the segments where Oscar reads a story to his friend Slimy the worm about Trash Gordon.
Instead it was just a character announcing the sponsors and immediately ends the show.
Yeah, basically they tell them the number and the letter of the day. One particular one, because there was a 2002 program break I remember watching on YouTube. This one actor who played this guy, I can't remember his name, but he says this one, Sesame Street has been brought to you today by the letter H and by the number 12. And then he just says bye.
It's Mike Patterson who does the voice of,
or who plays the character.
Miles.
Yeah, like the one who said, like this example program break from 2002. He basically said Sesame Street was brought to you by the letter H.
It actually did use the PBS Kids fishbowl ident after the funding in that program break.
Yeah, it's because it's in 2002. Yeah, I think that's when they started to use it. I think. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that and the Snow Globe ident both debuted in 2002 when Cyber Chase premiered.
Yeah. I think it was like that one program break I also mentioned. It was like somewhere late 2002. I think that was after Cyber Chase basically came out.
Cyber Chase premiered in early 2002, back in January.
Okay, so yeah, I think it was around the time when season 2 of Dragon Tales was still premiering. So So yeah, basically after that they just kept rerunning seasons 1 and 2 of Dragon Tales until 2005 when season 3 came out. And yeah, can I also tell you some of my other thoughts on we'll just talk about random Dragon Tales episodes. We don't have to go through them one by one. But yeah, let's go to Dragon Tales. Yeah. Can I tell you my
Well, we could even imagine some season 4 episodes that we came up with, since we are not having to interrupt the conversation and talk about Hey Arnold DVDs anymore.
Yeah, we could just do anything until around 10 o'clock, because I gotta tell you, I gotta stop around 10 o'clock. Well, yeah. Yeah, we can talk about anything, basically. It could be from any kid shows. Thomas, Dragon Tales, anything. Just anything in general.
Well,
anything in general.
Here, can I tell you what some of my favorite Clifford the Big Red Dog episodes were from the John Ritter era?
Yeah. Just not including that live-action movie, because it's not related to the series, but let's just do Clifford.
Well, some of my favorites, I really liked the one where it was raining in Birdwell Island and they were stuck inside Clifford's doghouse and they made up their own imaginative stories. It was the season 2 dog episode, Flood of Imagination.
Flood Imagination. I think I'm gonna have to watch some more Clifford the Big Red Dog, since, like I said, I watched the live action movie from late 2021 last year.
Why did you first start watching the series along with Dragon Tales?
I think I did, because I do remember the segments where Emily Elizabeth does read a special speckle story to Clifford in between the episodes, I'm pretty sure.
And I think the reason why the original Clifford the Big Red Dog series was canceled is because John Ritter passed away shortly after the series ended.
Yeah, well, the series kept rerunning on PBS Kids. I was surprised.
But they didn't make new seasons of the show due to John Ritter passing away, but they did make a new Clifford series called Clifford's Puppy Days, which aired shortly after John Ritter passed away.
Yeah, I think Clifford's Puppy Days was basically in 04 or 05.
It was actually at the very end of 2003.
Oh, okay, so basically, like, shortly after John Ritter passed away, they did a prequel series called Clifford's Puppy Days. I say prequel because it's like when Clifford was a puppy. But, the only way you can see Clifford is only seen in his Big Red Dog form at the intro.
I can imagine what it would be like if a third season of Clifford the Big Red Dog was produced. It would have to be like produced in around 2002, and then maybe it'll air from May 2003 up until January 2004. This would be John Ritter's last season to voice Clifford if they did make a third season.
Yeah, and yeah, I think I'm trying to remember some other good Clifford episodes I remember.
Well, I remember the basketball stories, one where Charlie has to lay in bed due to a bad cold he's got, and then Emily Elizabeth and Jetta and Baz tell them great basketball stories. Yeah,
and also there's one segment of Clifford the Big Red Dog I remember seeing in the 2006 program break when they sing this song, "Help Me Help You." There's one where he has to help these two guys. Well, it's not a full episode, but there's one particular one where they play montage without audio, where Clifford helps.
Show some Dragon Tales clips and Curious George clips in that song as well?
Basically, yes, they do, from Dragon Tales and Curious George, and also, yeah, I was also going to tell you there's some ones with Lori and Miss Hopper and
Lori Hooper.
Yeah. And, I remember this one from as a kid, but I never watched it. The one where they have to figure out a way to help Hooper not miss his cousin Peachy because he felt so sad to see her move away, very far away. But there are many ways you can still be intact with your family members you miss very much.
Well,
like back then,
I can tell you some more Clifford episodes. There was one episode in particular that was probably one of my least favorites, and you know why.
Well, what's the name?
It was because Clifford gets blamed for something that he didn't actually do. It was the kittens that got into the mess, and Clifford was blamed for it by Mr. Bleakman. It was called The Trouble with Kittens.
Oh my god. That's the same thing like what you mentioned. We did a well, it wasn't included, but it's kind of similar to A Smashing Success, where Zach got told off by Wheezy, but it wasn't his fault. He broke the trumpet. That's like Now, that should have been like on the truth portion, a smashing success where Emmy eventually tells the truth that she broke Wheezy's trumpet all along. But yeah, the trouble with kittens. I'm probably not going to like that episode because you said it was just, but it was like
Mr.
Clifford.
He's like, Clifford, I asked you to please go home. Now go.
Oh my god. but yes, of course. Yeah, and also something funny I want to also mention to you. Did you know something funny about the episode order? I should have told you, like when we talked about the last fan-made Hey Arnold release with a Dragon Tales release, with an episode of Dragon Tales. A storybook ending was actually placed as the 24th episode, but it's actually the finale, a storybook ending. But you know what also makes this kind of like also strange is that they put Flip Flop / Just for Laughs as the finale episode on Wikipedia. I don't know why, because it literally should go. I'll list off the episodes in season 3, if you don't mind, of Dragon Tales.
Sure.
Basically, it's basically To Fly with a New Friend, which is split up into 2 parts, because they have to split up in 2 parts. Rise and Bloom, Super Snow Day, Musical Scales, Hand in Hand, Sky Soccer, Making It Fun, not to be confused with the sing-along song. Yeah. Of course, Itching for a Cure, The Big Race, Flip Flop, Just for Laughs. This is the first one instance where they repeat a season 2 episode. Well, there are some other times in season 3 they'll start off with a season 2 episode, but then go to a season 3 episode afterwards. Well, of course, the first one where they do a season 2 episode afterwards would be Flip Flop / Just for Laughs. And then this is the first instance where a season 2 episode comes before a season 3 episode. This one would be Lucky Stone, Max Loves a Train, A New Friend, El Dia de Maestro, Finn's Blankie, which I think is one of the worst season 3 episodes in the world, despite, yes, Finn is happy at the end. But anyway, yeah, Let's Dance, Express Yourself.
And the repeat of A Snowman of All Seasons.
Yes. I just know them how they go when I found the list on Wikipedia by making sure they go in the correct order. That way the audience doesn't get confused. But anyways, yeah. Prince for a Day, So Long Solo, which is repeated. And of course, The Balancing Act repeated. A Small Victory. Feliz Cumpleaños Enrique. And repeated is On Thin Ice. And of course, Teasing Is Not Pleasing repeated with Down the Drain. And then All That Glitters, not to be confused with a SpongeBob episode from season
4.
Because pretty sure for 2006 that was on season 4 of SpongeBob. Well, anyway, yeah, repeated episode.
It was like in June 2006 when those episodes aired with Wishing You Well from season 4.
Yeah, I like Wishing You Well from SpongeBob. It's actually not too bad in my opinion because well, anyway, yeah, back to what I'm saying about the Dragon Tales episodes of season 3. We go to the 15th episode. Yes, it's All That Glitters, not to be confused with the season 4 episode of SpongeBob. And then the repeated season 2 episode is Dragonberry Drought. And then A Crown for Princess Cadoodle, which is repeated. And Play It and Say It. Moving on, repeated. The episode repeated is Head Over Heels. All Together Now, and the season 2 episode repeated. Teamwork. Yes. And then this is the portion where we have to I have to say these title episodes again. Or maybe not. Actually, we'll just move on to ones where they don't repeat some episodes. Because after this one, we have to repeat 2 episodes that we already saw. Because after that one, we just go to Sad Little Star, I think. Yeah, Sad Little Star. Yeah, all these ones are just repeats. So let's move on to Just the Two of Us and Cowboy Max.
Which apparently was originally going to be a season 2 episode due to Max and Emmy being only appearing as kids, but Enrique being absent. But for some reason, they pushed off the air date until 2005.
Yeah. Well, anyways, actually, that was supposed to go after Hello, Miss Tips, but whatever. Let's just keep. Actually, I should have said Hello, Miss Tips first, because the episode that's repeated, the sister repeated episode is Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon, but Hello, Miss Tips goes after it. So yeah, Hello, Miss Tips, then Just the Two of Us and Cowboy Max. And then, of course, the series finale, A Storybook Ending.
And also, I do know that the final Elmo's World episode, the original Elmo's World series with Elmo's Furniture, is, of course, the Frogs episode.
Oh, it's Frogs? Interesting. I didn't know that.
Kermit the Frog makes a cameo in the quiz as well.
Oh yeah, I know that too. Yeah, and also I want to mention, like, the segments towards the end of season 30. I think it's season 35 of Sesame Street, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Basically, I think the ones where Oscar reads a story to Slimy about Trash Gordon, either Slimy's friends appear or just Slimy himself. Rare times. I've seen that before. And
the Trash Gordon segments continued to be used at the end when Abby Cadabby made her appearance.
Oh, she did. She did. Wow, I was impressed by that because I think they even credit the year that the episodes premiered in the end credits. Basically, that's what they did with Dragon Tales and other shows too. Well, anyways, yeah.
Here,
yeah.
About there are some episodes that are not really of Arthur that are not really bad, but are not really that great either. Kind of in the middle.
Yeah, one YouTuber told me that
So Long Spanky, when DW's pet parakeet gets very sick and it passes away.
Yeah, there was a VHS of libraries of Arthur pet episodes.
Arthur's Pet Follies.
Yeah, I think it has the episodes Arthur's New Puppy, which he names it Pal.
Actually, Arthur's Pet Follies has Francine and the Feline, then Hide and Snake, and then So Long Spanky.
Yeah. I have to watch those pet episodes again. Of course, I just have to skip towards...
I watched it on DVD before, that DVD of Arthur's Pet Follies, and I know exactly what these episodes are in order.
Yeah, and also, I will tell you my thoughts. Can I tell you... Well, yes, I mentioned, some of the bad episodes of Dragon Tales, the first few minutes are okay. Can I tell you the first few minutes of Finn's Blankie are okay? When Enrique comes in rushing to Max and Emmy's playroom, and then he mentioned something about...
I'd say when Finn does his crying voice, it's even worse than what Kiki does in Baby Troubles.
But yes, Finn only cried once in Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon. Well, Cassie did too, because she got upset when Finn wrecked her castle, but at least he didn't cry when he hurt his butt or when he landed on his tummy on Cassie's castle in Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon. But of course, like I said, I don't blame Kathleen Barr. She's a nice lady. Don't get me wrong, I love the lady Kathleen Barr. But yeah, like I said, I think when Finn's crying tantrum is heard, well, basically it's heard after Wheezy says this line, excuse me. Well, Zach and Wheezy say these lines. Basically, they say, well, Cassie is babysitting Finn, and Finn is a teensy-weensy bit upset. And that's where it starts to get worse. And like I said, I don't know why they could just let their dad do this problem when Cassie's mom did it on accident. Why couldn't they just let their dad fix the problem? Like I said, I guess the dad was too expensive to find, or he was just too busy, or he passed away.
Or
what if?
Well, what if in season 4 this would be the first time where Ord gets a baby?
Or of course, the baby would be voiced by Jason.
Yeah, and the baby would be named Baby Fred, and he would be voiced by Jason Mikas.
Fred would be an interesting name, but we just don't know what to call the episode. It
would be called Ord's Baby Problem.
Oh my god! Hopefully, it's not as bad as Baby Trouble. We could somewhat come with.
Well, this time, Ord's brother Frank cares about his squishy as well, just like Kiki cares about hers.
Well, actually, you know how the similar situation could happen for Baby Troubles, the original with Kiki, but Kiki cries softly. But I don't know if Fred could do the same. I guess
Frank would actually do it slightly louder, but not too loud.
But yeah, I would say it's even higher than Finn's, if you ask me. And then Ord was like, "The bottle, Cassie."
Or you know what? Maybe we should have the baby V voiced by Roger Bumpus, who did Squidward, and he did great crying impression when he did Squidward as a baby in the episode Squid Baby. What if they reused that crying clip in that Dragon Tales episode?
Oh my god, that's even like can equally have a similar situation,
and especially, what if they used that same crying clip from when Squidward gets hit in the head with the cash register, and he's like,
God, it's so annoying as the same thing. But anyways, yeah. But let me think of other thoughts of other episodes of Dragon Tales I like from the original seasons 1 through 3. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the rest.
And what if season 4 was Jason Mikas' last season to voice Zack before Roger Bumpus, the voice of Squidward, took over?
That'd be interesting.
He would, and the way Roger Bumpus would do it is like, Razy, clean your room!
Anyway. Yeah, anyway. And
so,
also,
are there any more Elmo's World episodes you like?
I would have to say the Bananas one would be good.
I kind of like the music episode. I think the music episode is pretty cool because, you know, in the montage, kids are playing different musical instruments, and
yeah,
and the shade makes weird sound effects when Elmo tries to open the shade to get Mr. Noodle, and when he hits the bass drum, Mr. Noodle begins to shake violently like that.
That was kind of funny if you ask me. But yeah.
And of course, Elmo gets interviewed by an accordion after the music channel ends.
Yeah. And also, there's one particular episode of Thomas where, like, you know how James is crying in Foolish Freight Cars? Like, you know which one of these does a more crying James, Ringo Starr or George Carlin?
Ringo Starr does it better.
Where he goes, oh dear, he thought, I wonder how long I shall have to stay in the shed. Will anyone ever see my red coat again?
Ringo Starr does it a lot better than George Carlin does it.
Well, George Carlin didn't really attempt to do a crying impression of James, but it's kind of normal, but except James still has tears in his eyes. But it just kind of is a little bit kind of depressing for George Carlin.
What about in the UK version where it sounds more dramatic than Ringo's US versions, like, oh dear, I shall have to stay in the shed for always, and no one will see my red coat again. All because I went so fast that I had to be mended with, of all things, a passenger's bootlace.
Well, yeah. Well, but of course, I think, like...
What question do you have, MRKP 2003?
Well, yeah. I was just hearing you talk to your friend on YouTube. Yeah, answering his question. Yeah. Well, yeah, and of course, I know for a fun fact. Well, the dialogue of Ringo Starr and George Carlin's version of Foolish Freight Cars. Well, the UK Ringo Starr version, he basically goes, James had not seen the Fat Controller for several days. He was locked up in the shed. He was feeling miserable. But in Ringo and George Carlin US version, they basically say, James had not been out to push coaches or freight cars in the yard for several days. He was feeling miserable.
Well, in the UK version, he's like, he was very naughty and was not even allowed to push coaches or freight cars in the yards. He didn't say he was feeling miserable.
Okay.
In the UK version.
Oh, right. But in the US version, yes, they do say that.
Well, in the UK version of Thomas Comes to Breakfast, Sir Topham Hatt says, you are a very naughty engine. While the US version has him say, you're in a lot of trouble, Thomas.
But Ringo Starr, he still goes, I know, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, we already have talked about Elmo's World before, but
well, yeah. Well, anyway.
So anyway,
yeah.
What if it was a Thomas crossover with Elmo's world?
That'd be kind of impossible, because I guess they had to put like a little Thomas fish thing in like Dorothy's fishbowl. Like, you know, like do a montage of Thomas stuff in Elmo's world, basically. And they show montages of kids showing off their Thomas toys, and well, without the music, yeah, but the one with the kid talking is when that comes out of Elmo's drawer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, so like the ones with the kids not talking, but shows music with clips. That's before it comes, and then the thing goes into Dorothy's fishbowl, and they could make like a little Thomas fish bowl thing in Dorothy's fishbowl. What if Mr. Noodle was next to Thomas, but in actual live action person? Because you know how Mr. Conductor was able to still be in real person form with Thomas and Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Could you please say that one more time? It started the glitch.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, what if there was a cool one with Mr. Noodle in real life person form, just like Mr. Conductor was real life person form still in Thomas Magic Railroad when he went to go to the island of Sodor to find Thomas?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, what if they kept using Thomas's Magic Railroad voice actor, Eddie Glenn, still as the voice of Thomas, but
interviewing Elmo. He's like, I'm Thomas. Would you like to talk to me? And then sure. And then Elmo's like, oh, sure. Elmo can talk to a train.
Yeah, and of course when Elmo asks the baby, how do you ride a Thomas train, and he has a Thomas train.
Or how do you ride a train in general?
Well, yeah, it doesn't have to be just Thomas. Any trains in general. There are real trains too. And then, of course, yes, we know Elmo laughs after the baby tries to do this, and Elmo laughs, goes.
I was wondering if the montage could play like a kazoo version of the classic series Thomas theme instead of the Thomas theme played normally.
That'd be kind of cool, interesting to do. Well, anyways, yeah. And also, you know that the coolest thing when I watched the episode Sky Pirates, which was I think that's one of my favorite Dragon Tales episodes of season 1, where they basically go on a hunt to basically find treasure for Captain Scalawag. And basically, yeah, Wheezy singing in that song was amazing. At least Zach didn't tell her to shut up, or basically just shush.
Well,
I was surprised that Zach.
Weird about the season 1 episodes when they aired on television. The first 20 episodes aired when season 30 of Sesame Street was still rerunning, but then the next 20 episodes aired when season 31 of Sesame Street was the newest season.
Yeah, I found that kind of odd if you ask me. But yeah, you know how Wheezy sings in Sky Pirates, but Zach doesn't tell her to shush. Actually, it was actually a good singing. She actually was able to sing the song all the way, and Zach didn't tell her to shush. That was actually one of the rare times. That's why I like that episode, Sky Pirates. That's another thing I like. Is why my favorite episodes of season 1 of Dragon Tales, where Zach didn't actually tell Wheezy to shush. But yeah,
and of course, season 1. What if some season 1 episodes repeated in season 4, but they don't include the bad episodes of season 1?
Well, if they included some, it's hard to be picked.
A new season 4 episode be like Ord's new pet paired up with Goodbye Little Caterpoozle. And yes, Ord's new pet would be the second Dragon Tales episode to deal with the topic of death.
Yeah, I think it's like, yes, it's like the original version of Goodbye Little Caterpoozle when Cassie gasps that she thinks Poozy died, and then she starts crying, and Ord sniffles a cry just a little bit, saying sure is sad. But what if the similar situation, like what would the pet be good for Ord, since it was a
tame dragon tiger who talked?
A tiger. That's kind of
a tame one that doesn't attack.
Well, yeah, because tigers don't really attack people, but lions are meant to roar really loudly, but tigers don't.
Then what if when Ord sees the reaction, he's like, oh my goodness, he's dead!
That's so sad, Ord. And then yes, Cat.
And then Zach sniffles and it's like, it sure is.
And then yes, Kessel comes up and asks and explains what's the matter, Ninos.
And then Max explains, Ord's pet tiger passed away.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
I'm gonna miss her so much.
Well, at least that when they do it at Poosie's funeral, well, it's not like really a funeral because she really transformed into a butter fairy. What if the similar situation, or its tiger transformed into something else, but it wasn't really a sad funeral.
Well, actually,
like when they show the montages of when
it was mistaken that Ord's pet passed away, when in fact the tiger was taking a really long nap because it was tired of chasing.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so it wouldn't have a sad, just short funeral, so just something else. But yeah, of course. And something else I found kind of interesting is that in the Thomas Person the Cole episode from season 2, where it's renamed Double Trouble in season 2, and now in the Ringo UK version, it basically goes, "Help, I'm choking."
Well, they removed it in the US version so that kids don't get frightened of that word.
Well, I wasn't scared of that one when I watched the UK version of Thomas Person the Cole Ringo Starr version.
That Thomas's whistle is on the UK version, but not in either US versions.
Yeah, but basically in the US version, Ringo Starr and George Carlin, they just say, "Help, help." Well, George Carlin goes, "Help, help." Right. Well.
And then when Ringo Starr does it, it's more dramatic. He's like, "Help, help, get me out."
And then basically in the Ringo UK and US versions, they say, "I'm not disgraceful. You did that on purpose.
And what?
Get me out."
I wonder what George Carlin's version of "I'm not disgraceful" would be on the other hand.
"I'm not disgraceful. You did that on purpose. Get me out." And also, can I tell you about this? A cow on the line of season 2 of Thomas. Man, George Carlin's moo is so weird compared to the Ringo UK and Ringo US versions. Ringo actually did say moo correctly, where bass goes, "Moo," she said sadly. "Everyone tried to send her away, but she wouldn't go." And then when Henry goes, be off, "Moo," said the cow. Henry backed away nervously. "I don't want to hurt her." And also,
what if there was a Dragon Tales episode where they had something similar, but it's like a cow in the knucker hole.
It would be surprised to give one of the characters a nasty surprise, or a very surprising moment.
He's like, "Get that!" And Wheezy is like, and Zach is like, "Get that cow out of here!"
Yeah, and also, have you seen the Sticky Situation episode of season 2 of Dragon Tales, where Max is fooling around playing with his toy train, but he let the dragon pig escape?
Not to mention, Percy kind of mentions the Dragon Tales episode title when he's like, "Got yourself in a bit of a jam, eh, James? A sticky situation?"
And James is like, "Be quiet. It's not funny having jammed brakes. And not very reliable either."
I can imagine what it would be like if Michael Brandon re-narrated that episode. He would be like, "Be quiet. It's not funny having jam brakes."
Or how's the Michael Angelis version of Percy James the Fruitful Day goes?
Like, "Be quiet," snapped James. "It's not funny having jam brakes."
Yeah, George Carlin didn't say snapped James in the US version at least, but Michael Angelis for some reason did. And also when he leaves, when he's in George Carlin version, when he leaves Thomas behind with Annie Clarabelle, he basically says, "Pity the same can't be set for Percy. Goodbye." And in the Michael Angelis version, he says, "Peep, peep, goodbye."
And also,
yep.
What were your thoughts on Gordon's silly cue from season 3, the one that goes ba-dum 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 dum dum dum?
How does that thing go? Is it one of the, what episode is that from?
It goes bum dum 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 bum bum ba-dum bum dum bum 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 bum. It's actually heard in 3 episodes of season 3: Gordon and the Famous Visitor, The Trouble with Mud, and Tender Engines.
Yeah, and also, I would imagine, how you said, you talked to this one YouTuber saying how they could bring back Gordon's original season 5 voice back if Alec Baldwin did continue to narrate the series. What about the odd-numbered seasons? They use Gordon's season 5 voice, but in the even-numbered seasons, 6, 8, 10, and 12, use his season 6 voice. Switch between them, basically.
Or actually, what if
Yeah?
Or actually, what if season 6, what if season 8 and season 9
Yeah?
also had Gordon's season 5 voice, while seasons 10 and 11 and 12 had a season 6 voice?
Well, actually, I could do this redub if bringing back his old season 5 voice. In one example, I like respect for Gordon says, "Because I'm a very big engine, I'm the strongest and the best."
Or what about when he's like, or when he gets covered in the jelly? That part.
Oh. And what about in Big Strong Henry? Like when he sees Henry taking those cars out of the siding, and afterwards he says, "Look how strong Henry is, Gordon. Put those freight cars back. Those are for Farmer McCall. I am collecting them later."
Yeah.
How about having Henry does?
She's asking if you guys noticed that the Elmo's World montage music sometimes cuts off and gets short, or with some parts edited out.
Yeah. Actually, hold on a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take care of something. I'll be right back. All right, here I am.
She's asking,
Yep.
if you noticed that they sometimes cut off the music in the Elmo's World footages in some episodes.
Well, I found that kind of bizarre because I watched Elmo's World so many times. And yeah. And also, mind if I sing the song Wheezy sang in Sky Pirates? Because I know I didn't have time to do it because I was talking about other stuff. You know how she sings, "Sailing, sailing over the bounding main. We'll search for treasure high and low, and then we'll search again. Oh, sailing, sailing over the bounding main. We'll search for treasure high and low, and then we'll search again."
Now,
Yeah.
what are some of your favorite classic PBS Kids idents from the Dot and Dash era, like before 2008?
I think the Snow Globe and the Fish Bowl, and of course Fish Bowl, Snow Globe, Transformations. Those are probably my favorites.
What about the original running up to the screen and thinking idents as well?
Those are also my favorites. Both are equally good, but I think all the ones like different ones with Dash and Dot. I think the Dash ident with him thinking and the one with Dot transformations, those are personally one of my favorites.
Well, my personal favorites would have to be the Dash transformation one and the Fishbowl one. The Fishbowl one is the funniest ident I've ever seen.
Yeah, and also something funny in the episode Wheezy's Hairball is like when they try to feed Slurpee French fries, but that's not good for him. And the funniest one is when all them gasped, like, because Ord put ketchup on his peanut butter sandwiches. And then Cassie does this with a word expression, "Ketchup on peanut butter?" And then Emmy is like, "Gross." And Max is like, "Yum. I've never tried peanut butter ketchup before." And also, Ord mentions it to Max in Make No Mistake. He was once fixing up a peanut butter and dragonberry jelly sandwich. Yeah. And then he said he got mixed up and he put ketchup on it.
She's asking why you think it is bizarre with why they cut the Elmo's World montage music.
I don't know. I guess the instruments didn't have enough tone to keep playing. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't. Most people don't really know why this was never thought out. But anyway, yeah.
Remember
Also,
how I talked about Dragon Tales crossover with Sesame Street?
yeah. Well, yeah. I think you said that, yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a scene that they actually mention Dragon Tales in a Sesame Street episode once. The one
They
wishes the adults were kids, and he's like, "There's two kids who wish and wish with all their heart to fly with dragons in a land apart."
Oh, I think it's an earlier Sesame Street. Well, it's sometime in the decade.
It's actually from season 37 from 2006, which was a year after Dragon Tales ended. But they
just rerun it on PBS Kids, basically. Well, yeah, it's like in season 37. Even though yes, that's the series premiere of Abby Cadabby. Is it like after her debut? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's after her debut.
Yeah.
Well, actually, did you know there was one actually Sesame Street episode where Mr. Rogers actually goes to Sesame Street?
Or what if there was? Oh, there was an episode where Mr. Rogers went to Elwood City to be with Arthur in one Arthur episode called Arthur Meets Mr. Rogers back in season 2 in 1997.
Basically for the Arthur show, basically. But I don't know how they're supposed to animate Mr. Rogers in claymation style for Arthur, or he just appear in real person form, Mr. Rogers.
Well, they animated him as an animal.
So basically they did Mr. Rogers as an animal, basically. Which animal did they do for Mr. Rogers in one of the Arthur episodes?
It might have been a rabbit or something.
But I think he was voiced by Fred Rogers, because I know Fred Rogers passed away in 2003, the same year John Ritter did.
Well, but Fred Rogers passed away earlier in 2003, back in February 27th.
Yeah, basically, like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was what I noticed. And also, I'm trying to notice, like I told you, yes, about how Sprout airings of kids shows, they have to cut off the word stupid.
Well, I'm surprised Clifford the Big Red Dog wasn't even on Sprout.
Yeah, I'm surprised because it was still running on TBS Kids nowadays. I guess they didn't want to basically put it on there because I guess it was getting so popular. They kept running it on PBS Kids. Well, because it's true. And also, you know how I edit the scene.
It's also a popular show, but it aired on both PBS Kids and Sprout.
Yeah, found that odd. Something with Thomas and Friends, Dragon Tales, Bob the Builder.
Was also on Sprout.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. And also, there's another edit I could do from the beginning of Tales You Lose, like when Emmy tells Max, no. And then Max asks, whoa, what's wrong? I don't know if they say the word, if they cut the word dumb too in Sprout airings. Do they have to do that? I don't know if they did. Because I'm pretty sure like when Emmy goes back to Dragonland, when she realizes she's lonely without her friends, and she goes back.
What were your thoughts on this very funny, episode of SpongeBob where they censor out the cursing in which Mr. Krabs warns SpongeBob and Patrick about?
Oh, Sailor Mouth. I think it's as funny as Band Geeks, but I know they get their punishment towards the end, but then they all get punished at the end by Mr. Krabs' mother. But, yeah.
Well...
And, of course, they realize what that funny honking and...
where Squidward was impersonating Squidward, and Squidward got his comeuppance at the end by getting arrested by the police officer for impersonating a genius.
I think isn't that the one where he takes the person's wallet, basically? Or is it something else?
No, it's something else.
Okay, I thought it was the episode Good Old What's His Name from one of the seasons.
From season 5.
From season 5's Good Old What's His Name. But I'm pretty sure it's a different episode. I think it goes after or before that episode.
Now,
yeah?
what are your thoughts on some of the season 6 episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants? Like Suction Cup Symphony and Not Normal.
Not Normal I found just meh. But Suction Cup Symphony I found the one where they put SpongeBob and Patrick's thing where they playing pretend doctor to get Patrick well, and it happens during Squidward's concert. Because he kept getting distracted by SpongeBob and Patrick's silly
and there's this one scene where after Patrick is screaming too much and then Squidward's rainbow melts and Squidward is like, no, why?
And then, like, when he's very embarrassed during his performance at the towards the end, he basically says, "I wrote down everything I heard." But for some reason, he was rewarded very well at the end, because I thought the audience was very amazed by it.
Oh, well, I haven't come up with other crossovers yet, but anyway.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on the episode where SpongeBob and Patrick got Squidward kicked out of the Cephalopod Lodge?
I have not seen that episode in a long time.
Well,
but
what about, when Patrick puts forever glue on SpongeBob and SpongeBob gets more stuck in the ringer than he was at the beginning?
Yeah, he should have just known a way to just use some slippery soap to basically get it. Or basically, like, SpongeBob got stuck in the ringer and Patrick made it worse, and he yells at him at the carnival. But of course, the end...
That kind of reminds me of when SpongeBob was yelling at Squidward, and he's like, "Maybe you can take my job." And but nobody who dances with that guy but me. But now, do yourself a favor.
Yeah?
Favors.
Yeah?
And then, after SpongeBob yells at him, Squidward then starts crying.
Well, he doesn't really big cry. He just goes off. Well, he just walks out all depressed, and after SpongeBob hurt his feelings.
Well,
and then
let me tell you,
Breath of Fresh Squidward. That's the episode, yeah.
And what can I say about the season 8 episode of SpongeBob called "Are You Happy Now"? It is not that great. Squidward is suicidally depressed in that episode. He even lets out a big cry at the beginning of the episode, after Squidward angrily tells SpongeBob to leave him alone. And then he's like, "You're right, SpongeBob. I don't have a happiest memory." And yes, that cry is actually a very big one.
Oh, man. And the episode Squid's Visit is this montage is so awful. Like, after Squidward yelled so hard,
even calls it a scumbag episode as well.
Yeah, especially like after Squidward yells at SpongeBob, he's never going to come to visit his house ever. And SpongeBob keeps crying a lot, even like when they're in different places. He acts like a stupid brat. Oh my god!
Or what about when SpongeBob and Patrick are both crying because because Patrick ruined SpongeBob's toy, and he's like, they're like rolling around crying over and over again, and then Squidward is like, "Here, it's supposed to do that."
Well, I actually like before he notices the racket, and he's about to perform his clarinet. It's the episode Waiting, right?
Yeah.
And basically he says, "Can't you two be quiet? I am trying to perform my clarinet."
Now, what were your thoughts on when Squidward hurt SpongeBob and Patrick's feelings when he said, "Would you two for once act your age?" And then SpongeBob and Patrick start crying, and then Squidward is like, "Fine. Act like infants your whole life. See if I care."
God. I haven't now seen that episode. I would still say it's bad. You know another one that starts off so badly?
Squidward, when he's like, and then when Squidward yells, "I don't care!"
Well, he yells out, but at least and then SpongeBob hurts Squidward's face. And then Squidward yells out, "Oh, SpongeBob, you, what does he say?
He says, "SpongeBob, you good boob, you broke my face!"
Don't just stare there! I need a doctor! I found that episode... SpongeBob didn't really big cry in that episode. He just acts all worried with tears in his eyes. And of course...
I don't like when Orm acts worried with tears in his eyes in the episode, The Balancing Act.
Oh, yeah. The one where he tries to... Well, yeah, Mr. Dustfree. Where he tries not to spill all over Mr. Dustfree.
There was a episode of Dragon Tales where Mr. Dustfree returns, but this time it's Zack and Wheezy not being a good skier.
Oh, yeah. Like when they lose their skis, I think.
And he's like, it's no use. I'm not a good skier. Mr. Dusky is going to be mad at me and.
Oh, Zach, it's okay. Just.
I'm doomed.
Well, anyway, yeah, and also, I'm also trying to think of another episode of Dragon Tales I found interesting. I have to say, oh man, you know what? What was the episode? I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Oh, one question she's asking you is if you knew that the Elmo's World montages had sound effects in them.
They do. They do. They just don't have any people talking in them. Well, some of them do, but probably some don't. Well, anyways, yeah. And also, oh man, another Carrie Shelster Topham hat yelling at Thomas. Well, not particularly Thomas, but like I already did Jumping Joby Wood.
I think they have sound effects because the people at Elmo's World are just trying to be creative, I guess.
Well, yeah. And also, I don't think Sir Tom Hat yells in any of the season 16 episodes. Well, yes, he particularly gets cross, but actually, season 16's Express Coming Through, Dowager Hat yelled out so hard, she could have gotten a heart attack and died. Especially like when she yells, Thomas, do something! And then Thomas looks at Gordon. Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on the season 4 episode, Good Neighbors? I thought Squidward was going to have a heart attack because he was yelling at SpongeBob and Patrick too much after saying, "Stop calling me president!"
Well, at least it wasn't so hard. And like, you know, when they steal his house towards the very end. And you know when he bended onto the rock, he could have hurt his bones. Well, anyways, yeah.
Well, a few more questions. And then, anyway, so
yeah.
What are your thoughts on the SpongeBob episode, Can You Spare a Dime, where Squidward takes advantage of SpongeBob?
I found that episode awesome. You know, like when he's Squidward is SpongeBob's slave, forcing him to get everything.
And what about, it's like, what about when he's like, that lemon has 3 seeds in it? That's an odd number!
I can't eat something that odd number. Fine, I'll take it out then.
And then he's like, no, it's already contaminated by the bad lemon. It won't work.
And then SpongeBob goes angrily says, 2 things that won't work. And then another one when he wants soup instead.
What are your thoughts on the scene, like when Squidward lets out a big cry and he's like, I've lost my job, my home, everything!
And then SpongeBob tries to cheer him up, saying, there, you can come stay at my place.
Yeah. I can imagine what it would be like if there was a sequel to the episode Stuck in the Ringer called Stuck Again. This time it's Squidward getting SpongeBob stuck in the ringer because he hates SpongeBob, and then SpongeBob yells at Squidward harder than he yelled at Patrick.
Well, yeah, I think it was like they did something different. Instead of going to the carnival, they did something else.
What about going to the Krusty? What about going to boating school and they're stuck in the ringers? Like, do yourself a favor. You have ruined my life, Squidward. Get out. We are not friends anymore. So get out of my sight. And then Squidward is like, okay.
Yeah, and everyone gets mad at SpongeBob.
And then Squidward is like, I'm sorry I did this to you. It's just that I don't like you as much as Patrick likes you. I don't like you as much as Patrick, but I'm still sorry.
Well, yeah, that's what I know about Squidward. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, I think it's getting close to 10 o'clock. How about we do reenact
What
something?
were your thoughts on Squidward's reaction to SpongeBob yelling at him compared to him yelling at Patrick in the prequel Ringer episode?
Much more harsh, if you ask me.
So what was much more harsh? What was Squidward's reaction to SpongeBob saying that instead of Patrick, where Patrick was like, if that's how you feel, I won't help you anymore.
That'd be kind of interesting. But anyways, yeah.
So what would Squidward say after SpongeBob yelled at him this time compared to what he did when he yelled at Patrick?
Well,
he would just shout out, okay, and then run off crying harder than Patrick did.
Yeah.
And he's like...
Yeah.
And then he runs off faster than Patrick did.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I think there's time to do
a sequel to the Ringer episode where Squidward got SpongeBob stuck in the ringer this time instead of Patrick.
Well, it was worse.
How was it worse than that?
He didn't even think of a way to get SpongeBob out of there. And then even though Patrick
trapped SpongeBob up for good because he was angry and hated SpongeBob.
Yeah.
He's like, you are staying stuck in this ringer till you learn your lesson.
God, that's even more not even helpful.
And then what happens at the end of the sequel to that episode?
The same thing, let's say how SpongeBob and Patrick cried to get the glue unstuck to get SpongeBob out of there.
What about if Squidward did the same thing?
Yeah, basically the same thing.
His tears to get SpongeBob stuck out of the ringer as well.
Yeah.
Like, I am so sorry, SpongeBob. Please forgive me. And he's like, Squidward, that's it. The tears are melting the glue.
It is?
Yeah, keep on crying.
All right, SpongeBob. Oh.
Well.
Yeah. That was. I think. Well, I was gonna say, can we do? I think I could reenact something. One more thing, and then I'll probably leave. Despite it's a little bit after.
To the Crabborg episode where SpongeBob thinks Squidward is a robot this time instead of Mr. Krabs.
Oh, basically what they had to do is basically Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob tie up Squidward, but
no, that's my clarinet! You ruined my stuff!
And then they basically ask, where's Squidward?
I'm Squidward, you idiot!
Where's Squidward?
I am!
I mean, I actually meant to say, who's Squidward?
I'm Squidward, you! And what about the ending scene where Squidward cried after his clarinet was destroyed by Mr. Krabs?
Oh, God.
That was my very special clarinet! I had it ever since I was a wee little octopus! No!
Well, Mr. Squidward, you should know better than to really think who you are next time.
And then, what about when SpongeBob yelled that line out to Squidward instead of Mr. Krabs?
That would be much more harsh, like I said.
He's like, oh, you're right, SpongeBob. Why did you think I was a robot?
Well, you're not, Squidward. You're more of a musician, of a clarinet player than any robot.
Here you go, Squidward, a brand new clarinet.
Thanks, Mr. Krabs.
Well, that was Patrick's voice.
Okay. All right. He said, thank you, Patrick.
All right.
Yeah. How about one more thing?
Yeah, one more acting out. What if there was a sequel to this episode, The Donut of Shame, where this time Patrick sets up his birthday party, but Squidward takes Patrick's donut on purpose, unlike Patrick, who accidentally ate SpongeBob's donut.
Well, do you think of the same montages, but then thinks of in his dreams and his thoughts?
No! Please don't punish me! And it's like, and Sandy is like, it's too late, Squidward. You're getting kicked out of Patrick's Rock.
Why? Sandy was in that? She wasn't in the original one, The Donut of Shame.
Yeah, and it's like, now I'll never go. Now I won't be able to go back, but at least I won't be stuck with SpongeBob and Patrick anymore.
Yeah. Likewise, yeah. I think another one I want to tell you really quick before I leave is, well, and it's a Dragon Tales thing to wrap it up. And also, yeah. And also, I was going to say, what was the episode? I think it was called, oh, what was it? I'm trying to remember. It's from one of the seasons, the original 3 of Dragon Tales. I would have to say, oh yeah, let's talk about the sister episode, Copycat, which is the sequel to Big Funky Cloud.
Well, the sister of the episode, Big Funky Cloud, but not necessarily the sequel.
Well, yeah, sister episode. My bad. Where basically Max finds this cat that has 2 heads like Zack and Wheezy, and then he copies something Emmy says. Usually Emmy says definitely.
But this time Max says it.
I think they find it funny because, it's like Copycat, not to be confused with Arthur's version of Copycat from season 2. But
Copycat from season 1, actually.
Okay, I thought it was the copy of the same name episode of season 2. Well, anyways, yeah, and then they have to figure out where that copycat is so Max doesn't copy Emmy's phrases ever again. And
we'll do more. We'll do one more imagining episode. Like, what if there was a sequel to the episode Hocus Pocus, where this time it's Patrick who tries to get Sandy back after he accidentally turned Sandy into a piece of turkey. And he's like, I transformed you into something delicious and I can't change you back.
And then SpongeBob is the one to help, and this time it's the different version.
I turned Sandy into something delicious and I can't get him back.
There, Patrick. We'll find a way. There's
No! My clarinet! Well, Squidward, what's wrong? I thought Patrick was the one upset.
Yeah.
And then Squidward is like, well, I can't find my clarinet. There, Squidward, I'll help you eventually, but right now I have to help Patrick. He's failed one of his magic tricks. And he's like, hurry up!
What?
And Squidward is like, hurry up!
Or if, like, Sandy does come back, but Patrick is still crying that he wants her back, excuse me. And basically
And then Squidward ironically feels bad for Patrick, and he starts crying as well with Sandy. About Sandy.
Yeah.
Like, Sandy, come back! We need you!
Yeah. And Sandy's like, what's all the business around here? And then they cheer.
And then
Sandy!
Squidward's involved in this episode because he wants Sandy to come here so that he could fix his clarinet. Because Squidward broke it and he needed Sandy to fix it.
Well, Sandy
Squidward needed Sandy in addition to Patrick.
Well, that is true because Sandy is a scientist, aside from being a...
Now, what was the reason for Patrick wanting Sandy compared to Squidward now that I told you about it?
Kind of interesting, yeah.
Now, what was Patrick's reason?
Because he didn't like the way Sandy was mean and basically... Yeah.
And then, yeah. And then Squidward gets involved later in the episode, and he cries over his clarinet being broken, and he needs Sandy to come fix it.
Yeah, and then basically Sandy thinks of a way to get the clarinet fixed.
And then he's like, there, Patrick. There, Squidward. Both of you, it's okay.
Well, that's easy, Sandy, that you're back. That's easy for Patrick.
Well, maybe it's more easy for you than it is for me.
Well, didn't that thing that he accidentally hurt Squidward's feelings?
Well, Patrick cries mostly in this episode, and then Squidward does it in some scenes because his clarinet is broken, and Patrick wants Sandy just to get Sandy back, and then Squidward wants Sandy so that she can fix his clarinet.
Well, yeah, that is true.
All right. Well, it was great.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave the stream now, Flick Lover 2000. It was nice doing this final part of fan-made Hey Arnold releases and doing other stuff. Hopefully we can do something else possibly next stream. It could be on possibly anything in particular.
Well, tomorrow we'll do a full Q&A if it's okay with you.
Well, yeah, I'll probably don't know if I'll join it, but I could try to.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and go, so have a great night, Flick Lover 2000.
All right. Well, it appears it was the only reason, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed it.